If you are a Christian who identifies yourself as an empath, I want to open up a scripture real quick and show you how Jesus showed how to both fully be empathetic towards people without taking on the weight. Because I know a lot of empaths take on the weight, but we also don't want to reject the fact that God made you empathetic. But how do you balance those things? Well, Jesus himself modeled it for you. And it's here in the shortest verse in the English Bible, Jesus wept. See, this story is about Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. Ultimately, they were calling for Jesus to come and heal their brother. Well, then he died, and Jesus was delayed, and he took a long time to get there. Eventually, Lazarus died. Lazarus went into a grave. He was there for 4 days before Jesus got there. And everyone who was there was very upset that Jesus had taken so long to get there. He would not have died if you were here. But read this verse right here. When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come with her were also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and was greatly troubled. And so they took him to the grave. And when they were there, Jesus wept with them. And they were rightly frustrated because they're like, this is the guy who opened the eyes of a blind man. Certainly they could have kept him from dying. But I want you to go back to the idea that Jesus wept. Because we all know that right here, Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. Jesus knew full well what he was about to do. But up here, he saw people that he loved hurting. And he sat with them in their feelings. He sat with them while they wept. And he was moved to weep with them. He felt their grief, but he did not own it because he knew that he was about to raise Lazarus from the dead. He was empathetic in the sense that he felt the feelings that they had alongside them, and he showed them grace and mercy and love and compassion during that time. But he was not an empath in the idea that he absorbed all of that and made himself tired and drained. He didn't absorb what they were feeling, but he sat with them. But why would Jesus be moved to absorb their feelings when he knew this was happening right here? In fact, I've heard people who were really confused by this, like, why would Jesus even cry with them? Why wouldn't he have just been like, dude, wait a second, I got this going on right here. Lazarus, come here. But not once did he tell them any of their feelings were invalid. He didn't tell them stop being sad because not one of them anticipated him calling Lazarus forth. And you know that down here because it says, when he says roll away the stone, they're like, he's been in there for 4 days. He stinketh. Oh, I just realized that it cuts off where this is in the Bible. This is in John 11. So if you want to go in and read John 11, that's where this story is. Anyway, I know a lot of people who identify themselves as empaths end up taking on the burden of somebody else's feelings, and I don't think that's what we were designed to do. I do think that we can sit with people who are hurting. I do think that we can sit with people who are struggling. But I don't think that we need to make their hurts and their struggles our own. I also don't think that we need to tell them to stop having those hurts and struggles. Because Jesus himself let them have their hurts and their struggles. Your gift of empathy is one that the world needs. It's not a mistake. But your empathy is not meant to be a burden to you. So love them, but let them keep their energy.